Hey Fit Vegans in the making, I hope you're doing great. Today let's talk about sleep and the importance of sleep and the differences that I've noticed in my sleep schedule after I started switching from 6 hours a night to now sleeping about 8 hours a night, and why you should consider making this change too. So let's just jump right into it. Before, I would consider myself a chronic short sleeper, and I thought I was used to sleeping short. I knew that it was like I needed probably a little bit more sleep, but I was just enforcing myself to sleep short because I thought that's what successful people do. They sleep short, they work a lot, and they keep themselves awake with caffeine or with energy drinks or whatever. But they just don't sleep. They sleep very short hours compared to how much they work. So I was falling into this mental pattern, this mental mindset that sleep is for the weak and does not really serve you when it comes to achieving success of any kind. So I would be sleeping about 6 hours. I got used to sleeping about 6 hours, and I didn't see anything really wrong with not sleeping that much. Until I was reading this book, Why We Sleep, and also I was reading a lot about sleep and the quantity of it, and I've noticed that actually you get used to sleeping less, but you're still mentally impaired, which means your brain actually thinks that there's nothing going wrong like on the surface level, but deep down you do not function as properly as you should do. And this is really the same with like drinking alcohol. Like if you went to a party, you drink a couple of beers, and then you think you're ready to drive home in this drunken state, you really do not think clearly, and your brain is tricking you into believing that you are sane when in reality you are not. And the same thing happens when you're sleep deprived. Just probably like in maybe not that severe of a state as if you drink a couple of beers, but your brain thinks that it's functioning well when in reality it is not. Now, a good indicator that you're sleep deprived, which certainly was true for me back just a couple of months ago, is that imagine you would not drink coffee. Could you still be functioning at the same level like after a week or so, after your body has weaned itself off the caffeine? If not, you're likely sleep deprived. If you need caffeine to push yourself through the day, you're suffering from chronic sleep deprivation. Another test that you can do is imagine you would wake up in the morning, you would not drink coffee, and at 12 p.m., before eating lunch, so before you have this afternoon slump, could you easily fall asleep? Or if you sit down, if you lay down, could you easily fall asleep? And if this is true, for example, this was certainly true for me. I was taking a train ride, and I was sitting down, and within like 2 minutes, just fell asleep. This was a good sign that you're chronically sleep deprived. But I just got used to this state because I was just constantly tired if I was not drinking my coffee. So a good sign that you're sleep deprived is you fall asleep very fast, and especially like after 4 to 5 hours of being awake, can you fall asleep easily? If yes, you're probably sleep deprived. Now, here are the changes that I've noticed after sleeping more hours. Now I'm sleeping about 7 to 8 hours every single night, and I really start to prioritize sleep. Now, here are the changes that I've noticed over time. Number one, this is a big point when it comes to decision making. Number one is that you're less emotional and you're more stoic, so to speak, because you react less to outer circumstances. Before, for example, when I was sleeping less, I would get this bad news and I would just simply go into a negative spiral and have like negative thoughts, just completely overreact to what this thought would be all about, or this news would be all about. And then I got a positive news. I achieved something and I just went way out of proportion. Now, not really, I was not going fully crazy with my emotions. I'm not that emotional of a guy, but just more emotional to what I've realized now. I'm just more at the baseline, constantly at the baseline, more stoic, and I can just make decisions more rationally. Because before, when I was sleep deprived, my emotions, even though I did not notice it, were influencing my decisions more regularly than they do right now. So right now, I feel I have less emotions during the day, which is quite cool, so to speak, when you work on a regular basis. Because I've also noticed, number two, that when you work, when you're sleep deprived, for example, you're less focused. Why? Because you're more likely to give in to your thoughts. You're more likely to give in to your emotions. I've noticed that when I'm sleep deprived, for example, and I would work on, let's say, on interacting with clients for my coaching service, I would notice that, for example, my brain would come up with some weird thoughts like, oh, you should grab a coffee right now, or you should grab a banana. And I would just stand up and go, So I could not really regulate the thoughts, and which would really impair my focus on what I needed to do at this moment in time, what I actually needed to do at this moment in time. I've noticed that if you sleep more, you can catch those thoughts more easily and pull them back in and say, nope, brain, that's not what we're gonna do right now. We're just gonna keep this work, and then afterwards we might be able to get a coffee or a banana. But it's not what we need to do right now. So you're more able to stay focused. So I think a lot of why teenagers are very unfocused, or there's a lot of ADHD prescriptions, is simply because you do not sleep enough. So sleep more and your focus will increase. And one of the reasons your focus increase is because number one, you don't get as weird of thoughts. You don't get like a lot of thoughts regarding like immediate gratification. If you sleep more, I've noticed that if I don't sleep as much, I want to eat cookies and all that stuff, which is not that good for following a healthy diet. And it's also because you give in less to your emotions or to your thoughts at all. So sleeping enough really helps you getting more laser-like focused in your business or in your work. And the third point regarding the gym, I've noticed a higher pain tolerance when I was sleeping 8 hours compared to when I was sleeping 6 hours. Now, a lot of achieving muscle growth in the gym depends on first of all going to the gym. If you don't go to the gym, then it's shitty. But it's also about training with the right intensity and training with the right rate of perceived exertion, which means really making sure that you train hard and you force your body to change, because frankly your body does not want to change. Your body is very keen to adding some fat to your body. It's very keen to get to entropy and just lose. It's very easy to lose and to gain some fat for most people, but it's very hard to force your body to add some muscle. So you need to force your body a little bit, and one of those ways of forcing your body is if you have to push through pain. And I've noticed that if you sleep enough, if you sleep 8 hours, it's easier to push through pain, because again you're less likely to give in to your emotions, you're less likely to give in to your thoughts. Because if you think about it, what pushing through pain actually is just noticing the negative emotion and just not giving into it. For example, you go through the reps, your brain tells you, hey, this is painful, let's stop, and you just say no, and you continue doing it. And a good way you can notice that how good your pain tolerance is just doing planks, which is the static exercise of your abs. And if you hold this for, let's say, on a regular day when you sleep enough, for about 3 minutes, or like 2 minutes, and when you're sleep deprived you only hold it for like 1 minute, you can see the effect it has on your pain tolerance. So I've noticed a huge effect on pain tolerance when you do not sleep enough. And the contrary, if you finally sleep enough, you're more likely to push through the pain and you're more likely to achieve your results in the gym. So guys, thank you for tuning in. I hope this was helpful. If it was helpful to you, then just smash that like button, subscribe to this channel. And if you want to have a free strategy session with me, if you're interested in my coaching, you can go to qualitygains.com. Okay guys, see you next time.